Live. Hello out there. I'm Scott McGough. I'm a narrative designer with ArenaNet who works on Team Spring Break, and we are here to live stream Secret of Southsun Cove.
And I'm Leah Rivera. I'm one of the content designers that was on this release as well. And we're going to give you a little tour with the help of Rob Rhoda, our lovely driver over here. So right now we are in Lion's Arch at the new Asura Gate that the consortium built for this event.
And a little bit of lore background here. This was the Asura Gate the consortium was trying to build last November for the Lost Shores content, but never managed to complete because the Karka uprising started. These days they've finished their work and now the portal is active and takes you straight to the Pearl Islet.
And for those of you that do like boat rides, the boat is still available to take you over there too. But we decided to give you a Asura Gate as well. So go ahead, Rob.
And away we go.
Let's roll. So while we're loading. Oh, we're on Storm Bluff Isle too, by the way.
And for those of you unfamiliar with Southsun Cove, during the loading screen, I can give you a little background. Once upon a time, the island was a new and ready to be developed location. And now we're back to it.
So here is our new and improved resort on Pearl Islet. The consortium has made leaps and bounds in making this place nice and fancy for their tourists. And you can see there are a lot of little living story markers everywhere. Rob, you want to show off the representatives? Because they are an important part of this release, for those of you who like loot, like I do. So basically you get to side with either the settlers or the consortium at any given time. And they will give you a buff that will last only on the island. The consortium will give you a really big gold find buff, and the settlers will give you a very big magic find buff. So you get to pick an alliance and carry that around with you while you're adventuring. And Scott, you want to tell them something about the NPCs around here they can talk to?
Yes, we have some consortium employees. We have some settlers who are there. Right now, Rob is talking to
Null.
Subdirector Null. Subdirector Null, actually. This is the consortium executive who's in charge of the current Southsun Cove project. It's his job to bring these settlers into the fold and make them active and happy participants in the consortium's extended family of employees, and to make some money on Southsun Cove.
Greetings.
For those of you who played the Lost Shores content, you might remember Null. He didn't talk much then, but he was one of the characters who was involved in the initial Karka uprising. Players tracked him down, squeezed the truth out of him, and carried on with that content. Null is back, and now he is a key figure in the Southsun Cove operation that the consortium is running. And for those of you, plot-wise, we're picking up on the refugees of the Flame and Frost storyline. Those Norn and Shar who had driven from their homes were offered a place to live and a place to work by the consortium. And many who had no other choice took them up on that offer, but things aren't going so smoothly. As players will know, if you go to Southsun Cove, you're taking your life in your hands because the Karka are an incredibly dangerous enemy, and there's also reef drakes and reef riders. But the consortium's not willing to give up on this resort location idea, and so they're trying their best to make something work. And if they can get settlers to settle there and to work and to be active, happy participants in their extended family of employees, then that will help redeem Southsun Cove as the investment opportunity they want it to be.
I've got settlers.
So let's go down to the beach.
Right. And right there we just saw the other important faction apart from the settlers and the consortium is the Lion Guard. This is technically the property of Lion's Arch, and the Lion Guard has police authority. I don't know exactly what that's called, for lack of a better term, but they're the ones who are maintained with peacekeeping on the island, keeping everyone alive, keeping everyone happy. Oh look, here's some nobles from Divinity's Reach. We have one of our new characters, Lady Casimir Mead, and one of our old favorites, Lord Farron. They are both vacationing on the island for their own respective reasons, but these two have been childhood friends, and they bumped into each other on the island, and they have a number of what we hope are humorous scenes together. Plus, they both look kickin' in those swimsuits.
And as you can see, you also look pretty kicking in that
That's right.
swim garb there, Rob.
As soon as you hit the beach, you are put into your swimming garb, or at least your underwear. And there are...
And there's a nice little achievement you can get down here. I don't know if Rob's already gotten it or not.
Right.
But it looks like he has.
If you go down to the beach and you go swimming, you do get an achievement. I was going to say there are fun things you can do in your underwear on the beach, but I decided not to.
There's always fun things to do on the beach.
In your underwear.
And you can hang out with other players, as you can see here, too.
Right. And then just up the hill from where we saw Subdirector Null and Lion Guard Keel, There's also the consortium jobs golem. It's his role on the island to make sure all the settlers are signed up for gainful employment. And like many of the consortium efforts on the island, he has a real uphill struggle.
Jumbotron.
Jumbotron.
So there's that little guy. He's also got several cute little scenes on the island and talks
Yes,
to the
you hang out with him
various
for a while.
settlers.
Yeah, you'll see him interviewing settlers and trying to convince them that they should sign up for gainful employment, despite the fact that they don't want to be there and most of them want to leave.
Cool. Well, shall we venture into the wild, Rob, and
Right.
leave Pearl Islet?
Let's see some action.
So Rob's got his little entourage here, so he should be okay against these Karka.
Right. It's always a good idea to take back up to Southsun Cove.
Yes. But as you can see, it's still dangerous out here. Well, you will see. Gotta get rid of those tropical birds, you know. They're very dangerous creatures.
And they're such colorful targets, it's hard to resist.
Yeah. Totally. So I don't know if Rob's going to run into any right now, but we put a new resource node on the island called the Blooming Passiflora flower, and that will give you a guaranteed flower drop as well as the normal Passiflora fruit availability, the passion fruit, and the normal monsters, of course. Lovely reef riders.
Rider doing battle.
Uh-huh. It's battle time. And we put a variety of events on the island for you guys to run into as well. Rob will hopefully run into some of them because, as you know, the events, they're unpredictable. So since we're doing this on live, then we can't really guess which is going to be up when. So we're going to take a tour here.
Unpredictable or dynamic, as we like to say.
Dynamic, yeah. Yep. So he's going through the dappled shores here.
Somebody just cheap shot a Rob from behind.
Uh-huh.
Sucker punch. All right, Reef Rider, you're going to regret that.
It's okay. He's a cool ranger. He can take it. He's good. And drakes, of course. So the basis of a lot of these events is a conflict between the settlers and consortium right now.
Yeah, the settlers who have settled there, some of them are angry to the point of riot. And it's the consortium's job to keep them on task and keep them focused. It's the Lion Guard's job to make sure nobody kills each other on the island. So all three factions are involved in the civil unrest, with the settlers who want to leave or the settlers who don't want to work for the consortium. There's friction between them and the consortium, and there's friction between everybody in the Lion Guard who is just trying to keep everybody from each other's throats.
Ah, and we run into something. What was this one? Defend the targeted victim from the angry mob.
Here's one of our settler events. This settler,
When he
character,
loads.
when he shows up.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a consortium guy.
Yeah, this is a
it looks
consortium
like,
guy
back.
who has found himself outnumbered by settlers and is suddenly worried that the mob is going to turn ugly and turn violent, which they do. And so it's as Inspector Ellen Keel, one of our main characters for Southsun Cove. You remember her from Lost Shores. She's basically the town marshal of Southsun Cove, the entire island. Works for Captain Magnus of the Lion Guard back in Lion's Arch. But she has called for help in quelling the violence between the settlers and the consortium. And at this point, something is stirring up the wild animals to make them even more aggressive and more territorial, just to compound the situation Keel has to deal with. So Keel has called the players to come help her. You have to deal with extra crazy Karka, extra angry settlers. It's all a big mess. Keel has her work cut out for her trying to keep a lid on this situation.
And as you can see, actually, for those of you who are familiar with Southsun Cove before, this entire camp is brand new. Our map artist, Aaron, put it in for us, and there are some new buildings and props to defend as they're trying to push the front into the Karka lands for the for consortium goods, I guess it would be. Their agenda.
Yeah, this is the consortium working hard to establish a foothold on this island so they can turn it into a safe place for people to vacation. It's not the most altruistic of goals, it's not philosophically noble, but it does make sense. That's what the consortium is in business for.
So, of course, the best way to protect your town is by building a giant wall.
As you can see, Aaron Panagos, our environment artist, put a lot of time into making this as cool as it is, and we're very happy with the result.
So now this is what Drift Glass Springs, Rob, that we're going out into. And as you can see, we have our veteran Karka that always are in this area.
Yep.
But they also have a new thing as well. They have a guaranteed drop of one Karka shell now instead of just their normal loot. So they're a little bit more lucrative to fight. And as you can see, Rob is sporting the settlers buff right now. So he has his magic find boost, so maybe he'll get some extra cool loot drops from him in our mystery box.
It's worth mentioning, you can take the settler buff from that settler representative we saw back at the gate. You can also take the consortium buff, and you can switch back and forth however many times you like. So you're not locked into supporting one faction or the other as the content continues. You can always find another representative and change your allegiance to get the different buff.
And there are, in fact, achievements related with representing one allegiance or the other and completing events. So it's good to swap between them and give equal share to these guys. Uh-oh.
We have a man down.
He's fine.
Tough Karka. Yeah, who's dead now?
Yeah, so there's Rob's Karka shell he just picked up. And killing more Reef Riders. He's so bad, you know. Very cool. So we're making our way through Drift Glass Springs now and towards Levy's camp. Although it's very dangerous, so we're going to see a lot of fighting in this area.
Again, as part of the plot, you're going to go find researcher Levy, another returning character from the Lost Shores. She is our local resident Karka expert and wildlife researcher. And so in an effort to help understand what's making the animals so crazed, players can go talk to researcher Levy, get a sample detector, and go take samples of the island's flora and fauna to help Levy test them and determine what exactly is going on here and why the Karka are so crazed.
And by doing so, you'll complete achievements to get the first of our back piece items, which actually I think the Silvarian Green fighting around with Rob is sporting right now. Almost got him.
While Rob's taking care of business, just a little behind the scenes note, when we were working on the Lost Shores and when we created Southsun Cove, we named all of these sectors and points of interest as if the consortium were making the map and trying to make them sound as appealing and vacation-y as possible, which is kind of a in-joke because if you've been to Seashell Heights, you realize it's actually a Karka nest full of dangerous, lethal creatures, but they tried to put the best face they could on, and this is where you get shells if you can survive the Karka onslaughts. Sawtooth Bay, named after the giant shark that swims around in it and eats people. But they wanted to make it sound friendlier than this is the giant bay where the shark will eat you bay.
As you can see, Rob has found a lot of people to run around with now.
We have a Rob mob.
Yeah.
There's one of our
and a blooming passiflora flower. So he's got 2 passion fruits and a passion flower from that one.
High yield from those resource nodes.
Yep.
Those of you who
Follow the mob, Rob.
Follow the Rob.
They're heading towards the camp. Yeah. At least that'll take those veteran Karka down more swiftly. Get all your good shells. Very cool. All right, so there you can see Levy's camp down there, sheltered in this little depression. And she has all her researchers there still as well to help her out.
Yep, and there's an armor repairman and vendors. This is
It's a kick in place.
I was going to say a safe haven, but I'm not sure how safe it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, you talk with Levy, and she will give you the detector, the scanner, that lets you locate the samples she needs to complete her research and find out why the Karka are so angry. And I keep saying Karka, but it's all the animals on the island, the reef riders, the reef drakes, and the skelk as well.
And as you can see from there, the detector actually goes into your inventory, so you can unequip it and just re-equip it back from your inventory again while you're out in the field. So if you do need to swap to your weapons, you can so quickly and efficiently.
Yep, it's right there in your inventory. And Leah, could you talk about how the scanner wave works?
The scanner wave is that #1 skill down there, and that searches for these resource nodes there that are all the samples that you're trying to find on the island. And once it hits one of those, the sample will glow. And Rob grabbed that one, no problem.
You use your 2 skill to collect the sample you've just identified with your 1 skill.
Yep, exactly. So you explore around the island trying to find these samples. and collecting them for Levy. Are we going to go into the nest, Rob? I know it's your favorite place. Cool. So we'll see if we make it. We seem to have lost our entourage.
Where's our Rob mob?
Yeah.
Oh, no, there's a couple behind him.
Oh, there's a commander tag in the hive. We'll see if there's a big group there anyway. Cool. So Rob is heading towards the hive.
Which is in Big Stone Cavern? Right there.
It's called.
That's the name of the cavern. I'm not
Is that
sure
the name
if
of the
that's
cavern?
what the hive is.
Big Stone Cavern.
Big Stone Cavern.
In Seashell Hills.
In Seashell Hills. See, it sounds so friendly and nice.
Yeah,
You'd
it's
never think you would
beautiful.
get crushed to death by a carcass.
Yeah, so one of the achievements on here is, of the scavenger hunt, is to find the highest point on the island that you can get to. And I'll spoil this one, it's in here. So we'll see if Rob can find his way up there. There's also another little tidbit we'd like to show you. Cool. So, he's broken free.
Right. I see the entrance to the cave.
Awesome. So they'll work their way up there.
And then once we get inside,
More blooming passiflora. Rob's lucking out.
once we get inside the cavern, you'll see the environments in there. I've always been especially fond of because they definitely reflect the fact that the Karka built this place. Sort of like the way ants build an anthill or wasps build a wasp nest. They take whatever's around them, they process it, chew it up, spit it back out, and use it to construct their own hives. There's the carcass of the ancient Karka we fought during the Lost Shores. And for those of you who have ever wondered, there is a Karka life cycle. They start off as the small hatchlings, they grow into the young Karka, they mature into the full-grown Karka who become veterans and champs. But only the oldest, largest, and most powerful Karka classify as ancient. To date, we've only seen one, and that's the one we killed during Lost Shores because it was out of control and posing a serious danger to Lion's Arch. So its body is still here, just as a reminder of that event. But there are still plenty of Karka left to deal with on the island, and especially in this cavern.
Yeah. The consortium hasn't quite pushed this far yet.
Yep. And so you can see there's planks and pieces of ships that the Karka have incorporated into this structure on the inside. I think our artists really nailed this. And it's just plain fun to run all the way up here.
Big purple anemone things in the walls.
Whatever
They're
that
pretty
was,
awesome,
now
yeah.
it's wallpaper. The Karka killed it, turned it into a wall.
Yeah. So you might want to go with the group up here if you venture this far into getting this sample,
Right.
because there are dangerous things up here once you get up higher. And Rob just passed one of the other achievements we might show you
One of
if
my
Rob feels
favorite
like
things, yes.
doing it.
Once
We got a thumbs
once
up,
we get the
so-
sample, we'll do the.
Yeah. I just didn't want to make it.
Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah.
We'll show you guys.
We are backseat driving. So Rob, you
We
gonna do
are.
this thing? You gonna do this thing, Rob? Rob will do it.
Yeah, so up at the top there is this
Rob Mob,
champion
there we go.
Karka, which looks like the Rob Mob is taking care of pretty nicely there. Got some Sylvari turrets helping him out. So she should be taken down, or he, at any moment. Grab that sample.
Flash mob teamwork here.
Yeah, thanks guys.
One-on-one
Great.
Karka can be devastating. It's just,
Yeah.
you need help. You need friends.
So
Back
thanks
up.
for the support. Oh, orcalcum. Orcalcum or orcalcum? I always get that one wrong.
I've heard it pronounced a lot of different ways. Or a calcum.
The sweet ore.
You know what we're talking about.
Gotta get that note while you're up here, you know.
Yeah.
It's a very important part of the game.
And now Rob's gonna
And there it is.
scan.
Oh, that one didn't open up. There you got it.
Boom. And
Cool.
You get an achievement for that.
Careful.
Each sample you
Don't run off the wall!
but you gotta each sample you collect gives you an achievement, and there's an overall achievement for getting all or for getting a certain number of these samples.
This Levy just needs so much to do her work, do her job. So as you can see up here, there is a jutty of wood sticking out of the side, but the goggles trick you because they're down here.
Yeah.
So once you have these, there's another little achievement that Rob is going to show off. You can get your diving goggles, and you can go to the
Right.
board. You can also make it from the spot the goggles are at. It's just a little tougher.
I've done that. It took a few trial and error, and I'm a big fan of high dives in our game, and this is it. This is a good one. So Rob, are you begoggled? Here we go.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh, it's gonna make it.
Oh, splash.
Oh, so that
Yeah.
is
This
the
is
goggles do
this is
nothing.
another reason why you want to bring friends to the Big Stone Cavern, because so someone can res you after you get this achievement, because it will kill you.
But the goggles, they do nothing.
The goggles do nothing,
But you do get the achievement.
but you can't get the achievement without the goggles. So.
No. So Rob, does this character actually have the back item from the achievements?
There are
Cool.
lots
You wanna
of
show
dead
it off?
people.
Awesome. I'm getting thumbs up.
We get a thumbs up from
He's
Rob.
not allowed to talk. We'll find somewhere safe for you first, though, huh? That's not a safe spot.
There's
You might wanna go
almost no
for
safe
it.
spot on Southsun Cove. I went to go have an omelet the other day on Southsun Cove, and I got into trouble.
Oh yes, and Ruby has reminded us, if you want to submit questions, feel free to do so.
Absolutely. We'll be doing
We'll-
Q&A towards the end of this, so start submitting your questions now, and we'll get ready to answer them.
Gotta give a shout out to Ruby, too. Yeah.
Ruby!
Setting all this up.
Protected.
All right.
Aha, the
Rob's
fervent
Rob's
sensor.
going to show us some of the finest Southsun Cove haberdashery.
Ooh.
Check it out.
So that's our pretty flower back piece that you can get from the achievements. And it has little bees around it too, if you like bees and pollen.
Entirely appropriate on that vicious char.
Blooming out of his back. So pretty. Cool. And here is the overall back piece reward for the island.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Sclerite.
The sclerite back piece.
Hmm?
Yeah. Rob has apparently been busy and done all of it.
Right. The Sclerite weapon set was developed by our prop artist, Tomas Gomez, who did a fabulous job on them.
Yes. They're pretty fancy.
I've seen some comments, some people are a little unnerved by the blinking eye on the Sclerite stuff. That is by design. Everyone on the team was really, really fond of the horrifying blinking eye.
Meant to be unnerving
Yep.
for you guys. Yeah, and those can be purchased through weapon tickets found out of the consortium random box. That is found as
Consortium
drops.
chest.
A consortium chest. Found as drops around the island. The magic find boost will help you get those too. So they're pretty fancy.
All right.
Cool. So we got any questions, Ruby? All right. Ravius asks, what's all the yellow stuff in the Karka hive?
Well, the short answer is bile, which is I'm sad to have to give you that short answer. But no, that's part of the Karka when they're chewing stuff up and reassembling it into their hive. That's basically the mortar. It's an organically produced substance that comes out of them. Kind of nasty stuff, but it's no different than what a lot of insects do when they're building their hives.
Like bees and beeswax, right?
Yeah.
The other question, Ruby, did you get all of it on there? I can't read it. Oh, there, Rob saved it. All right, I can't pronounce your name, so forgive me, but Karasuchi asks, what content of all of this will stay long term? Well, the stuff you're seeing right now is actually going to go away at the end of this 4 weeks of content. But towards the end, we're going to have a big event chain that's going to stick around and will be permanent content. We'll wait and let you guys find out what that is.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't want to spoil it. Cool. And Ozzy the first.
that is an excellent question.
The whips that the new NPCs are using, will that be for the players someday? That is an excellent question. I don't think we have an answer for that one.
Yeah, there are currently no plans to make that a player weapon, but me personally, I love it, and I would love to see that as an option.
It would be fun, but currently no plans.
We take a lot of things into consideration before we give a player a new weapon.
Man,
Easter
you guys are
eggs
just
you'd like
challenging
to
me
hint
with
at.
these names, aren't you? So, Joa Salamo. Can you ask?
Yeah.
Any Easter eggs that you'd like to hint at? Oh.
Not really. I'd like people to discover them on their own at this point. It's still fairly early, but I will say the content that we experience here on Southsun Cove will directly lead to the next month's content, and some of the important characters from this release will be featured in that release as well. So I don't know if that counts as an Easter egg, but that is something that will be revealed at a later date.
So Hoon _ asks, what can we expect next after the Southsun Cove section of the living story?
And again, I'm gonna beg off on that one. It's going to be a surprise. We're still working on it. I think you'll be very pleased. But it does not take place on Southsun Cove. It moves further off to somewhere else. But like I said earlier, it does follow a lot of the same characters, and it gets them into new and exciting adventures, which we're all pretty happy about. But I'm not on that team, and so I don't want to spoil that team's content, or else they will come get me.
We do sit very close to them.
Yeah, they know where I work, so I can't avoid them.
Exactly. Hey, Rob, would you mind scrolling down on the questions? Thank you. Oh my goodness.
Will Lord Farron save us all from Karka's wrath and gain deserved glory? Absolutely not. In this release, look, he's got this great new outfit. Yeah, Lord Farron does not take an active role in the Karka pacification or in the settler consortium conflict. Like I said, he's there on vacation. But Lord Farron, we're certainly not done with Lord Farron, and I don't think he's done with us either. So we will see more of Farron in the future. What he wears is anybody's guess.
All right, so Ruby has asked us to wrap up now. So
All right.
thank you guys very much for joining us in-game and on the live stream. And yeah, we'll talk to you guys later. Hope you enjoy the content.
Enjoy. Thank you very much for showing up. Thank you for helping us display. We're very proud of this, and we hope you like it as much as we do.
And thank you, Rob, for driving
And way to
such
go,
wonderfully.
Rob. And thanks to the Rob Mob for backing him up.
Yeah!